Alright, so plat VODs are one of my favorite things to review because there's almost always a glaring issue that you can fix that'll help you climb a lot. First issue I'm going to notice here is you were kind of DPSing here. Trying to get your nade up there, which you kind of threw in a random spot and stuff, when you had literally walked past your Ash who got fire striked and is half health. Actually less than half. If your Ash would have died there, that would have been on you, and that's just a big waste of time.
I'm dead. This maid's gonna kill me.
Yeah, and so that call right there, fine. It's good to let your team know they're down their main healer. But why not call a second earlier and tell your Lucio who's 2 feet in front of you that you're being bullied by that Mei? He had good reaction time, so you were fine. But what if he didn't?
I'm sleeping.
Alright, so think about where you're going right now. You know all your enemies are right there, and you're kind of about to start frontlining. You should back up even more. You maybe even go on the left side because you know all your enemies are on the right side to fight them. That said, that's not even a fight you should have entered because you had 2 down when you started it. And so right now, you know, gently remind your team that you need to group up, you need to fight this 6v6, and get back together and get a real fight. Ana generally has so much that she can gain from positioning because of the fact that you have so much range with every single one of your abilities and primary fire. And so you don't need to be up front.
Damn, you're by yourself.
So you tell the hamster he's by himself and then you go up there with him. You're so lucky you didn't die there for no reason. And then like little things, but they add up. Like, why did we not sleep the Rhine when he was right there? He's in our field of vision the entire time, and we have sleep the entire time. He charges a teammate, we could have slept him.
Really is a different tank combination.
It's unfortunate we were worried about DPSing again, so we didn't get to heal our Hammond. And so this is a fine position back here. Stay back here, maybe hug one of the corners more so that you have some cover. Against this comp it's not as important, but against other comps with a sniper it'd be way more important. And just stay back. You can do everything you need to, not on the front line where you are right now.
Someone get their in there, the Anna's in the mega room. And in the mega room. Dive in, dive in.
You are the most forward one on your team. It makes no sense. Everything that you did there okay, so roughly speaking, you had the enemy Ana here, the enemy Braid coming back here, the enemy Ryan here, and there may have been like one more person, I'm not sure when the fight started. Your team was pushing them, and so they were generally up here. So from there, you have a few choices where you could be. You could be back here, you could be up here, you could be back here, and those would all 3 be good spots where you could hit all the shots you needed, all the nades you needed, everything. But instead, you went and positioned yourself up here, which was insanely risky, and you even had to run away from the Rhine back to here, And it actually made it harder to hit your nades and stuff because you threw an anti-nade, but because you were literally an inch away from your Winston's face, it just hit your Winston instead of the Ryan that you were aiming at. And if you were back here, you could have chucked it over your Winston, or you could have slept someone, you could have hit all the healing shots you needed, but we decided to frontline, which is not going to be a good choice.
I have nano for monkey. Let me know when you're ready. Yep. Well, we're all dead anyways. That's a feels bad.
Yeah. So how did you avoid getting grabbed right there? You didn't frontline. Like, why do you go any further up than this? Like, what are you going to do 10, 15 steps ahead of you that you can't do here? And you would have never been grabbed because, again, you're one of the most front people on your entire team.
Well, we're all dead anyways. I don't know.
So about your anti-nades and your sleeps, you really need to make sure that you're not using your nades to make up for your lack of aim or for your personal healing, because denying healing on the enemy team is so much more valuable. And again, it's just like, why are we getting shattered here? Why do we push up literally to the point? You were actually in a fine position where if you would have just stayed like behind this pillar over here, you could do everything you need and you're very safe. But what I was saying about the nades is about half of your nades, if not more, have only been used for healing your allies, and that just really isn't the best use of them.
I'll shoot for graph again. Okay.
Like, why did we use that nade to heal the Winston here? He's almost full health. If you would have thrown it a little further, waited a second till he wasn't blocking your vision, you would have gotten a great anti on the Brig, which is then easy for a nanoed monkey to kill. Instead, the Brig just now died.
You're purple.
Even if monkey was not purple there, you totally ignored your teammates over here. So you can see right away that their health is going down, and he has what, 900 still? Still going down. Critical.
You're purple.
And then we finally switch. So you guys have lost this fight, it looks like. So healing...
I'm dead, Mace got me.
Yeah, healing your diva and stuff like that is really only staggering your team.
Just group up. I almost have Nano again. You're walled, you're walled. I can't catch you.
More general tip for you is that you haven't really hit tab this entire time, so you don't know if their comp is switched. You don't even really know what ulti your team has, and I think that you've pretty much only hit tab when you were dead, and I'd love to see you hit it more, because as far as you know, they've gone on to like Widow, and that changes the way that you need to play as Ana. So you guys are taking high ground right now. It's cool, but you're taking high ground without either of your DPS, the two that need high ground. So essentially we just fed, and we only had one fight and threw it away.
Get this brig solid position.
You saw your Widow critical health,
Brig
and you were
one.
worried about killing the brig, and so you completely ignored him. Like we can see already going down. Critical and burning.
This brig solid position. Brig 1.
And both of your DPS now just died up top because they didn't have tanks to take it with them, because the tanks staggered. And that sounds like I'm blaming the tanks, but that's on you guys as a team to know when you can and can't push.
Yeah.
So already right away. So you try to throw a nade, but then why do we stay so far forward? We do absolutely no difference for our team at all. So team, all circled within there. We make absolutely no difference if we're here, if we're here, if we're here, except that up here you can even have better sight lines and you're safer. Here you at least have some sort of cover and you're not literally the front line. And so think about where you're standing and ask yourself if there's any reason at all to be here, because there isn't. There's no advantages. And then look now, like you and your Zen are frantically backing up. Imagine if you had been up top the whole time, so that you could have just healed your Orisa without stopping, and then maybe you wouldn't have wasted your nade to heal her, because we shouldn't be using our nade to amplify our healing, we should be using it to deny healing. Now imagine you could have rotated to the other high ground, and you could have helped shoot the pharmacy.
Mercy 1. Don't touch him!
Big call is to call out like Sleeping Rhine. Like, while you're doing it. If you're confident it's going to hit, call it. Because that stops your teammates from shooting earlier, and people like Orisa, they don't necessarily always have the choice to stop shooting right that second because there's a small delay.
Fair in the window.
So you know you're getting fucked by a Pharah. So are you going to play out in the open, like you are now? Or are you going to go behind cover? You should have never gotten shattered.
Coming back.
So finally we're in a fairly good position. Like, why are we going like on to the point? If we want to hit all the same shots, why didn't we either stay high ground or literally stay high ground, rotate again, or stay down here? All fantastic choices. Even staying on the stairs is better. But like, why are we ending up like here? This is dangerous for us. And if we die, we're not providing anything to our team. All of this should be a no-go zone for you while they're on the point. Because there's absolutely no reason to be there, and it doesn't help you. And you, especially on a map like Volskaya, it's crazy because you have very solid choices, especially like these two, and maybe this one, depending. You probably would have gotten bladed. But it's just crazy that we're not positioning ourselves well because Ana has such low health, such low survivability, and you can self-heal, but you just wasted your most valuable ability if you self-heal. And we're literally the most forward ones on our team, and Orion is swinging on us. That's insane.
This is May again.
It wasn't the May. It was the fact that you walked into the Rhine.
They have grab. They have grab for sure. Ryan can't see you.
You had a good position. You just walked past your Ashe, who was 1.
You're purple, Ryan.
Imagine if we'd had our sleep on cooldown so we could have slept that Rhine so he didn't do that to our Rhine.
That's okay, I was a retarded sleeper. This is all my fucking fault. Holy shit.
You've been playing that forward most of the game. I'm glad that you realized at least one of the times that it's way too far forward. Yeah, so I mean there was other stuff that I was going to start to mention, and I did start to mention, you know, communicating with your team, working on your ability usage, and I want you to hear that when you watch this, but if you fix your positioning first and foremost, that's going to help you climb the most, so focus on that. I mean, it's insane that you would frontline on Ana, because there's no value that you're going to get out of it. There is, I mean, tons of different Ana play styles on Twitch, on YouTube, on every single platform that you can watch Overwatch videos on. You'll probably find 20 Ana play styles. None of them will include being the most frontline person on your team. And so I would encourage you to really fix your positioning and then try again. And I'm confident you'll be doing so much better.